What's up, guys? My name is Juan and you're watching my channel BlueprintPC. And today we've got a good one for you, and I'm sure you kind of already know what's going on because the thumbnail and the title tell you what's going on. We are talking about the RTX 3080, specifically the EVGA for the Win 3 Ultra. I was able to snag one of these puppies. I did not pay a scalper, and I would not pay a scalper for one of these. I was fortunate enough, and I mentioned this in a previous video, able to get one through the EVGA queue system that they've enacted in order to try and help actual people to buy one. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna unbox this together. I literally have not opened this up yet. Seal's still there, and the seal's still intact there. So I wanted to share this experience with you guys and kind of get some honest opinions on the opening of it and what's all inside of it. And I mean, in all honesty too, pictures on the front of the box, and I'm sure we've all drooled over photos of this online and other cards like it. So yeah, we're gonna open it up, we're gonna talk about it. I will do a follow-up benchmark video along with an overclocking video. So if you're not already, please hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more. All right guys, so let's go ahead, let's open it up. Real quick, just a quick overview of the presentation itself. The image of the card itself on the box is glossy, where the rest of it is matte. Outside of that, the rest of the box is pretty standard, nothing too special anywhere. So probably just keep it easy, make it fit on a shelf. And I'm sure, in all honesty, just like I am, I'm more excited about what's in the box versus what's on the outside of the box. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna cut this without hopefully tearing the box too bad, because I'm really freaking bad at opening stuff up. So I'm probably gonna tear this, I'm hoping not. Ooh, look at that. Oh, I got it. Nothing. So that's that. And it's essentially just a black box right there. Oop. Oh. Ta-da! A whole bunch of foam. So yeah, congrats on that. I mean, it's packaged well, so it's protected. Got a little cutout here. What's this? Your little installation guide. If you don't know how to install a graphics card, which is in multiple languages and stuff like that. There's something else hiding in here too. This is a support bracket, which is only really useful in specific PC cases. So this is gonna be heavy pig. And I'll try to leave a link in the description below here for a very cheap, that's functional PC bracket, well, PCIe slot cover bracket that'll help support the weight of this guy, because it's going to be heavy. I can tell you that much right now. I plan on vertical mounting it, so that hopefully should not be an issue for me. And the always famous little EVGA badge. I've got a couple of these floating around. And I think that's it. So let's go ahead and just pull the whole card out now, if I can. I already see something I don't like, but we'll talk about that in a second. Just for good measure, there is nothing else in the box. All right. Woo. Let's get this stuff out of the way so we can focus on this. All right. Attention! Electrostatic shock and some leftover glue string. I'll have to vacuum that later. Sorry for the crinkles. Oh, that is heavy, no lie. All right, here she is in all of her plastic wrap glory. So initial reaction, Jesus, yeah, she's pretty freaking chonky. And what I don't like is the clown lips that they decided were a good idea to put on both sides. I really don't like these. And supposedly, EVGA stated they were going to be sending out brackets with the cards. Well, I didn't get no brackets, so I will have to reach out to them and be like, hey, where's my lipstick cover? Because I don't want none. I want solid colors, not lipstick, which I still really don't know who designed that, but we'll talk about styling later. So I've got all my notes here. I'm going to go through this with you guys. So, the RTX 3080 in all of its big, beautiful glory is, wow, yeah. So, real quick, guys, because like I said, I wanted to share the experience with you. Already noticing a couple odd things. So, right off the bat, I don't know if it's quality control because they're trying to pump them out or what, but on the inside of this guy, there's this little like retaining bar for the fan headers, and it's bent. And I mean, while that's not an issue, I can very easily get that back in line and correct, but you can still kind of see where this one's a little bent down. I'll try to get some close-up shots of this for you guys. And then even then, there's also right in here another part of the cold plate and everything, well, not the cold plate itself, but part of the cooler doesn't quite, like, it looks a little off. Again, I will try to attach some photos of that. So like I said, I want to share the experience with you guys, and we're going to see it in all of its glory and downside. Now, one thing too with this, real quick, because I just looked at it, Gamers Next has mentioned this, and you can even see through the back plate, and again, I'll try to get some other photos. There's no thermal pads touching the back of the memory, which would help with this metal back plate radiating the heat away from those. So the cooler's huge and chonky, and it's hopefully going to do its job here, but there's no thermal pads that would help assist in releasing that heat off the memory itself. But yeah, we'll get into a later video. For all you peel freaks out there, I'm going to do a very unglorious peel because this is like all wrapped on the side, and I want to be able to get better visuals for you guys while I'm talking about this guy, because it is all just over the place. Well, maybe it won't be too bad. Oh, is that good for you too? Alrighty guys, like I told you, we're going to do an overview on this one as well. We already did the unboxing portion, we got that out of the way, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the specs for this one and hopefully answer any further questions you guys may have on this puppy. So overall, base clock on this is 1440 megahertz, which is standard across the board for RTX 3080. Boost clock on this one is 1800 megahertz. Now it will go higher depending you have more temperature and power headroom, so just keep that in mind. We'll get into more power stuff later. This has 10 gigabytes of the GDDR6 memory, which is faster than standard GDDR6. This is rated at a speed of 19,000 megahertz. There is 21,000 speed available, but it's more expensive and the yields are worse, so that is most likely why NVIDIA and everybody else has gone with the 19,000 speed RAM. This has 8,704 CUDA cores. For perspective on this, my 2070 Super that I currently run, I believe has 2,304. So you're talking more than 3 times the available CUDA cores in this, on top of the fact of more ray tracing and tensor cores available for this guy. It runs on PCI Express Gen 4. It has an offset triple fan layout, which means this middle fan here is down 10 millimeters from the rest of them. EVGA stating that helps distribute air more evenly across the whole PCB and the cooler in order to obviously cool it better. So that is why. The heat pipes themselves do run at what they call their 180 degree layout. There is a 25% larger cold plate on this, which they say does expand over the RAM on this. So the VRAM is also being cooled by the cold plate to help, again, keeping everything running at its optimum specs. The software to use for this would be EVGA's own Precision X1, which I personally like. I use it. I also use MSI depending on what's going on. But for me, the Precision X1 just has a more user-friendly layout, and it's very easy to read, and it's quick, and I like it. But to reach your own, if you want to use something else, go for it. That's your call. With this one, you have 4 outputs on this. You have 1 HDMI 1.4, 3 DisplayPort 2.1s, so total of 4 outputs again for 4 potential monitors for whatever you want to use. Dimensions on this guy is a height of 5.38 inches or 136.75 millimeters, a length of 11 inches 0.81, which is also 300 millimeters, and a width of 2.75 PCI slots. So long story short, pretty much consider this a 3 slot card with just a sliver of extra room, especially considering how wavy it is. So if your case only has 3 slots in the back, you most likely need a bigger case because you're going to smush it against your power supply or whatever else is down there. and likely choke it out, not giving enough ventilation and airflow to keep it cool. This does also have what NVIDIA is calling their NVENC 7th gen encoder built in. Power specs wise, this does have a max operating temperature of 93°C. So once you start getting towards 93°C, it's going to throttle down like a mother because it's trying to protect itself at that point in time. Because once you hit 93°C, I don't know why it's so hard to say, it's going to throttle down, possibly just shut down and crash essentially because it's trying to protect itself from potential harm. This is rated at 320 watts, and EVGA states this card itself with its own game boost and things of that nature will ramp up to close to 400 watts of consumption by itself, and maybe more with some slight overclocking. There is a beta BIOS available for 450 watts, which should get you higher clock speeds, but even if EVGA says that might not get you better performance, just higher clock speeds. I myself might have to upgrade my own power supply because I'm currently running off a 750 watt power supply, which is what EVGA states is the minimum recommended power supply for this. Most likely I'll have to upgrade mine in order to feed this power-hungry pig. It does have 3 8-pin connectors on it for your power supply, and they really want you to run 3 sets of 8-pin connectors, not like one with a splitter to 2 or 3 or anything of that nature. So please do not do that. You're likely going to cause problems and potentially a fire in your house, so don't try to rig it by using splitters because those cables can only run so much amperage before they actually get too hot and catch fire. So be safe, be smart. All right, guys, so talking about the styling of this guy, I have mixed feelings. I really do. I don't think it looks bad from this angle. I really don't. I do wish the RGB was balanced. I wish there was some RGB down here because I do plan a vertical mount and I'm going to see this. So I wish there was some more balanced RGB instead of it all being right up here, but I understand why EVGA did that because when it's mounted horizontally in your case, that's what you're going to see. So that makes perfect sense why they did that. The ends are what drive me absolutely crazy. Like I might have to like paint them if the EVGA doesn't come out with end caps soon, but it's the clown lips. I absolutely hate the clown lips. Those are just such a stupid idea. It's like when you're drawing a picture and you go, hey, I just need to add a little something, and you're like, no, stop. And that should have never been a consideration. These should just be smooth. The overall waviness of the fan shroud, mixed feelings on. I don't know if this has a reason for vortex to help create wind turbulence and things of that nature coming in there to help, again, better dissipate the wind and the heat and things of that nature. So I don't know. The back plate, I do like. I think they did a nice job here. It's got this hexagonal like perforations on it and cut out so you can see where the cooler, so air can just push straight through in certain areas. And the styling's not too bad. I think the red line was just to help tie in the lipstick on each side, and that can be done without, but it is what it is. That doesn't hurt me in any way, shape, or form for the little red line. I do believe this EVGA back here does light up RGB as well, but I will confirm that. But aesthetically, mixed feelings. I do think for the most part it looks good, but it does need some love in some certain specific areas just to make it look really good. Ooh. But let's go ahead, let's get this one wrapped up, and we'll carry on. Final wrap up, pros and cons. Pros, super overclockable. This card is going to give you a great air cooler and will have future support for AIO type modifications or just straight water blocks because it's an EVGA for the Win 3. Traditionally, EK and other brands do make water blocks for these cards in order to water cool it, or like NZXT has those adapters that jump on there and you put like a Kraken cooler on it and you can hybrid it yourself. So being in the tier of the card that it is, which is a top tier card, it's likely to have a lot of support when it comes to variations of water cooling, which would also, again, support the factor of overclocking. And again, there's already BIOS out to increase the power limit on this guy so you can overclock it. So if you're a fan of overclocking, this is a top tier contender for you. Overall, it's an RTX 3080. It's a freaking powerhouse card. So it's almost as strong as a 3090 for the price point and at half the cost. So it's really hard to go wrong there. Cons, styling's iffy. If I can get rid of the red lipstick on each side, and if there was more balanced RGB, I'd be 100% sold on the styling of it. But it's subjective. That's my opinions. You may love it. So if you do, more power to you. It needs some work in my personal opinion on it. And the other con is it is power hungry. Back on that 450 watt BIOS, it is thirsty for some electricity. So I myself have a 750 watt power supply and will likely need to upgrade based on that factor if I want to overclock it, which means, yes, I'm going to have to upgrade. So decision made at some point. Outside of that, guys, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I'll try to answer them as I get them. And I still have a whole bunch of testing to do to this, and I really can't wait to get it inside my rig and start playing with it. So thank you for watching. Please hit that like, subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.